So, hi guys. My topic for today is seen in silence. So, to me, the meaning of seen in silence is being understood, felt, or acknowledged without having to say a word. It's about those quiet moments where someone really sees you, your pain, your strength, and your emotions, even when you can't express them out loud. There's three different layers to seen in silence that I'm going to touch on today. There's an emotional part, there's a mental health connection part, and there's a spiritual part. So I'm going to start with the emotional part. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Seen in silence reflect on being noticed or valued, even in your stillness. That means when you're still and don't have nothing to say, when you're not performing or explaining yourself. The mental health aspect of seen in silence is for people who are struggling silently with anxiety, depression, or different traumas you're facing in your life. It symbolizes validation. You don't always have to speak your pain for it to be real or recognized. The spiritual meaning to seen in silence is it can represent peace, mindfulness, or divine understanding. Being seen by the universe, by God, or a higher power in your quiet moments, right? So it often means like, you know how you show up for people and you're able to pour into people and you think that it's going to be reciprocated, but it's only one-sided. You ever been a giver, and the people gonna keep taking, but nobody thinks or even care to give back, right? So my scene in silence is I do things because I want it done for me, right? I know you see me doing it for you. You have not thought once to reciprocate the love or reciprocate the pouring in. You guys have to understand that gets draining. It's very, very draining. As I was saying, it gets draining because you're steady pouring into people and pouring into people, but nobody's refilling your cup, right? You need your cup refilled because the energy, you just don't have it anymore. So if you're just pouring and pouring and pouring and nobody filling your cup is running dry and your cup is empty. So that's where I get the scene in silence from, right? So today is Thursday, so we're gonna call this a thoughtful Thursday, right? We gonna think and we gonna chat and y'all gonna talk back to me, right? Because mental health goes so unnoticed and put on the back burner that it's crazy, right? And mental health is affecting the younger kids and the younger generation more than ever right now, right? Because they feel like they don't have nobody to turn to or talk to. So like let's talk about it. Let's sit on my couch, right? If you are ready to sit on my couch and go live with me and chat with me and unpack, and you're ready to heal and be healed, and let's chat, let's talk about it. Because oftentimes growing up in the colored household, let's say it, let's call a spade, the black households, you are taught to hold everything in, right? What they always say, what happens in this house stays in this house, right? And we grow up with that, right? So we often felt like our feelings and our how we feel was put on the back burner, or we're not able to speak our truth or speak or say how we feel, right? Because we were taught like that, right? So in this new age and time and these Gen Zs and these YNs, these kids in this generation is different. So it's time to chat. Let's chat about it, right? Because how can we raise our kids if we're not healed, right? It's like trying to raise a king or a queen with a broken crown, right? We have to fix our crown before we could pass our crown over, right? Because we're only going to pour out our brokenness onto our kids. So it's time to be healed so we could be the best version of ourselves for our children. So I have a couple of questions where I would like feedback and for you guys to talk back to me, right? So my first question would be, when you go quiet, what do you wish people understood about you? That's number one. My second question is, have you ever felt unseen even when you were surrounded by a lot of people? My third question would be, how do you check in with your friends when they've gone silent? Do you show up for your friends, or do you just ignore those moments when they've went blank, silent, not receiving calls, not receiving texts, not returning them? What do? My fourth question is, what is one message you'll tell someone who feel invisible right now? What I would tell you guys is, trouble don't last always, and it gets better. It gets better. It gets better. It gets better. But talking about it and letting it out makes you take off a load, and it makes you feel lighter. Carrying that baggage and that weight, that's heavy. That is very, very heavy. So I have an exercise for you guys, right? So I want you to finish this line off, right? I feel most seen when what? Thank you guys for tuning in. And my final question to you is, are you ready to unpack? Are you ready to be seen and heard? If you're ready to be seen and heard, come have a seat on my couch and tell your story and help others navigate through mental health. And let's talk about it. Let's help others bring awareness to mental health and let them know that they're not alone. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.